Normally I close the door when I'm recording, but today we have a lot of visitation. A lot. Huh. Hi friends, welcome back. I'm MC, a knit and crochet designer and yarn dyer from Connecticut, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Blame the Knots, on my website blametheknots.com, and of course right here on YouTube, where you can get to know me a little bit better. Today we are here for episode 57, yes, of the podcast, and it is currently October 1st, which is wild to me. We have a lot to talk about. If you have not been here before, we talk about all of the things: knitting and crocheting and spinning and some new things occasionally when I dive into other crafts. And I feel like I always forget to mention this, but I should probably put it up at the beginning. I also work in publishing. So at the end of the podcast, for those that are interested, I always talk about what I have been reading recently, because that is another big passion of mine. So we took a little bit longer of a break in between these, the last podcast and this one, because I was sick last week. So we have a heck of a lot to talk about today. And firstly, before we jump into anything else, I want to talk very, very quickly about an admin thing, in case you can't stick around for the whole thing, or in case you have to watch this in parts and you don't get to the later part of this for a few days. I want to make sure you are not missing out on a sale. Some stuff happened in the past week. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know about it. I can talk about it a little bit later. But I want to mention a little sneak peek of my works in progress. I am currently working on a version of my side-long shawl, which is clearly not done yet. But this is a pattern that I released back in 2023, and it is currently on sale for 20% off on Ravelry. You can get the pattern with the code SIDELONG, all lowercase, just the first word of the pattern name. And I keep extending the length of the coupon code because I want more people to be able to participate and join me. I am doing a little very, very casual, totally no rules, no nothing, knit along for the side long shawl. So if you would like to grab the pattern, it is still on sale. This episode will be going live. Let me see. This episode will be going on YouTube on Friday, October 3rd. I will keep the pattern on sale, let's say, through October 8th. Okay, through the end of the day on October 8th, the pattern will be on sale. So if you're watching this before that and you want to go grab the pattern for 20% off, like I said, use the code SIDELONG and knit along with me. I will be at Rhinebeck this year, and I am hoping that I can maybe take a picture with a bunch of you with your side-long shawls. I know that it is really last minute before Rhinebeck, so this is not like, if you want to bring it and work on it and have that be your Rhinebeck whip, you can do that. If you want to use some scraps and make a teeny tiny itty bitty little side-long shawl that you can just like tie on the strap of your bag, you could do that too. You can make one for your cat. You can make one to tie into your hair. You can make one wear it as a bracelet. There's no rules. It is a customizable pattern, so you can use whatever yarn and gauge and size you want. And I'm sorry if the camera is moving right now. Let me see if little Miko is rubbing him. Oh, he stopped. He was rubbing himself all over the tripod. Also, the house behind us is getting a new roof put on today. So if you hear any noises, I am sorry. Okay, that was a really long intro. Normally I don't put admin stuff like that at the beginning, but I wanted to make sure I did it. Let's jump right into our finished objects. The first finished object for today, you might have noticed and said, MC, what is that amazing thing that you're wearing? Well, this is the E Street sweater by Brie of the Little Wolf Knits. Miko, please stop. Miko, baby, you gotta stop that. Oh no, oh no. Oh gosh, oh man, so many things just happened. Oh, Miko, please stop. Miko, I need you to oh, please. Miko, I need you to stop that. You can't roll on that. You can't rub on it. You can't rub on it. Sorry, you just got moved. I dropped my computer. I got my sweater caught in my spinning wheel that's sitting next to me. That was a wild, like 30 seconds. Anyway, this is the E Street sweater by Brie of the Little Wolf Knits, and I made this using my colorway FOX on my For Sure fingering base. And as always, I say this every time I've shown this, this looks so much more orange on camera. It is a much more like bricky red color, and even I had it with me a couple weekends ago on a trip, and like everyone I show this to in person, they're like, oh yeah, that doesn't look right on the podcast. So this is a beautiful, more brick red. Like if you look at the color that it is in the shadows, if I make like a shadow on myself, it's more like that color. That was a horrible explanation, but this is something that I started a really long time ago. I can't remember if I started it last fall or at like the very, very start of 2025, but basically once it hit like March, once the weather started even the tiniest bit getting warmer, I put this away, and I just didn't work on it anymore. I had everything, I had the body done, so I didn't have the neck or sleeves on it. And I decided maybe 2 weeks ago to pick it up because I wanted it for the cooler weather this year, and it flew. It went so fast, and I am in love with it. So let me tell you very quickly what else I need to tell you about it. Let's see. I used a US 6 needle, which is what I usually use to get the same gauge as Brie. I made the body actually about an inch shorter, maybe like 3/4 of an inch shorter than what the pattern calls for, just because that was like the perfect way to have it hit right at the top of my pants. And I like measured a bunch of other things that I was really liking wearing at the time. And so I did that. Other than that, no modifications, except that I made 2 sizes smaller than what the pattern suggests that I make. So this is a pattern that has, I want to say like around, it would have been about 8 inches of positive ease for me if I had picked the correct size. Sorry, I don't know if you just heard that. There's a bunch of animals. All 3 of them just went scurrying down the hallway. So for me, I should have had about 8 inches of positive ease. I decided I didn't want that. I wanted neutral ease. And so I made the smallest size that the pattern offers. And I love it. I absolutely love it. No modifications made. I followed that size exactly. I just chose a different size so that it would fit my body differently. And I did double check things like, you know, if you're if you're sizing down like that and stuff, you know, sometimes maybe the neck might not fit the best or whatever. So I did double check my measurements versus the finished garment measurements just to make sure everything was gonna work. And it did, and I love it. This is the perfect fall outfit, top, sweater, whatever. Also, this interesting pooling that happened here on this shoulder with just some of the tonality of the yarn, and it looks so much more prominent on camera than it does in person. Like you can barely see it in person. So I love it. This is perfect. It's amazing. I love every second of it. I'm starting to get a little tiny bit warm today, but it is a cooler day here, so I think it's just because I have like all the windows closed and everything. It's to keep things quieter in here, and it's just making me a little hot. Okay, next up, we have a big one that I finished, and this, I don't think we're even going to be able to get into frame completely, but this is my finished boucle dress that I designed. This still does not have a name. I need to figure that out. This is a new design by me, test and call coming very soon, potentially before this video goes live. We'll see. I don't know. I have to figure that out. Make sure you're on my newsletter so that you don't miss any future testing calls. This is I used Don't Cry Shop Girl from last year's, also FOX is from last year's Thanksgiving collection. I used Don't Cry Shop Girl from last year's Thanksgiving collection on my Bodacious Boucle DK weight yarn. And then I also used Fiddlesticks on my No Duh DK. And I think in the past couple of podcasts, I keep saying that this is kerfuffle, and I don't know why. I think it's because the last thing I made from this is from my Back in My Day collection. And the last thing I made from that is kerfuffle, so I just kept I got used to saying kerfuffle all the time. This is Fiddlesticks. It is this beautiful avocado-y green, and I think they pair perfectly together. And this is such a fun, beautiful sweater dress. It has been tech edited, and it is ready for the next steps of testing. So I just need to pull myself together and get that going. And that should be a December pattern release. And honestly, I was thinking about making another one yesterday because I tweaked a couple things with the fit as I was making it to the final pattern. Nothing that's gonna like make it look different on me. You know, the sample's not gonna look that different, but it's just like gonna be the tiniest little bit of tweaks here and there to make the fit perfect. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I want to make another one. I did consider taking mine apart, but I'm not doing that. I would rather just make another one. So we'll see. We will see what the future holds. Next, I finished up another thing. Can you tell? I did so many finishings of things. And I actually, out of what so I finished the boucle dress first, then I finished this next thing that I'm about to show you, and then I finished my E Street, and then I had nothing. I had no projects on my needles. So let me show you this, and then I'll tell you about what happened after that. This, I finally finished my hanky tanky, and oh, it looks so good held up. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Okay, the last time I was trying to show this, it was just like not, did I show this on here already? No, it wasn't done. It wasn't done when I finished it last time, but it wasn't blocked. So this was not hanging right. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's just a lovely little sleeveless tank with some waist shaping and this amazing hanky hem at the bottom. I made this out of hand spun yarn. This is 100% merino. I used one ply was Meh and one ply was My Bad, both from Agem Fiber Arts, and it is perfection. I love it so much. I need to like wear it before it gets too cold. I considered wearing it today, but I thought it might be too cold, so that I put this on. Now I'm too hot. We're in that weird time of year. Okay, so like I said, after finishing those 3 items, I had a void in my life, and I had literally nothing on my needles. I had nothing on my needles, and I was in a little bit of a downward spiral of trying to figure out what I wanted to work on. I had nothing that was really inspiring me. I had plans for the future that I wanted to work on, but I didn't have the yarn dyed yet. I was about to go away, so it wasn't like I could, you know, quickly dye up the yarn and then work on it. I didn't have time for that. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So after a lot of panicking and going back and forth and holding yarns and thinking about them and feeling how I felt with them and trying to like trick myself into figuring out what I wanted to do. Like sometimes if you're like, oh, MC, make a shawl, then I'll be like, ew, no, I don't want to make a shawl. I want to make a hat. And it'll like trick me into figuring out what my heart's desire is. I spend a lot of time on this. And then I just said, you know what? Screw it. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And the problem is what I was struggling with was like seasonal making and like made up rules for myself for what I should do for making samples of my yarn and stuff. And I was like trying so hard to fit things into what I felt like was the right answer, what I should do is the best thing for my business. And then I just said, screw it. And I grabbed some yarn that I wanted to work with. And here is what happened. The first thing that I made is the Catalonia crop top by Claire Jackson of Perfectly Knotted, and this doesn't look like much on the screen, but it is this really cool, it's basically backless and it just has I-cords all along the back, and there's shaping all over the place. The pattern is incredibly detailed. You're not going to be able to see my shaping with this dark yarn, but the pattern is incredibly detailed, as all patterns from Claire are, and I used, let's see if we can show this better for you. This is What Happened to Grape Soda, which is actually a discontinued colorway. It has been retired, at least for the moment. I do believe I have some, trying to see, I do believe I have some left and ready to ship. I know I have Miko. Oh my God, Miko. Do you want to come say hi? Somebody wants to say hello. Somebody wants to say hello. He's very interested in the camera. I love you, but please don't pop the tripod. This is the most chaotic podcast of all time. So yeah, I think I still do have some of this as ready to ship, a few skeins here and there if you are interested, but it is currently retired as of right now. But it is this gorgeous, like really, really blue purple, and I love it so much. I did, let's see, is there anything I have to tell you about this? I used a US 6 for this, and I used my, is it Tulip? I think it's Tulip I-cord maker to make the straps. And it was perfect. And I used up every single scrap of my DK weight skein. Oh, that's on No Dud DK, by the way. I used up every single scrap because I just decided to make the I-cords as long as I could with what I had left. Next up, I grabbed another single skein. I stole this from my stock and decided to make a sample for the shop, and this is the Tansy Tank by Alicia Plummer, and it is a very cute little eyelet tank. And I'm gonna be honest, I have not even put this thing on yet. So I hope it fits. It seems fine. And this I made in the colorway whippersnapper from my recent Back in My Day collection. And it's coming out a little bit, again, a little bit more like orangey than it is in real life. It's like a very caramelly, it's like really the color of like a Werther's original. And this, again, I finished within 48 hours. This was my first time. Let's see. I used a US 9 because I knew that was how I knew my gauge with my fingering weight held double on a US 9 and matched what the pattern was, so that's what I used. This was my first time making an Alicia Plummer pattern. And I was surprised, I will say. So this pattern is $6. And I was talking with a friend about this and we were saying basically like in general, patterns should cost more. You know, people should not be afraid of paying more for patterns because of the amount of money or the amount of time and effort and everything that goes into making a good pattern. So I think this pattern is what I would expect for a $6 pattern, I guess. But I was really surprised. I try not to be too like judgmental or think about things that are really just a matter of preference. Like I like my patterns to be set out a certain way. It works well for my brain. I like certain design elements, whatever, but like that's a personal thing. And so if the font I choose versus the font you choose, or I would do 2 columns and you would do 1 column, like I'm not going to pass judgment on that. That is a very personal preference thing. And while I might prefer one over the other, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's not affecting the quality of the pattern. But things that do affect the quality of the pattern are things like errors in the directions. I mean, the pattern said to follow the chart, and then there was no chart included. I mean, you don't need a chart, but I was surprised. And I don't mean this, like, I'm not trying to sound mean or judgmental or critical of another designer. It is a cute pattern. It is a cute tank. I've had it on my list that I want to make as a shop sample for a while. So like I'm happy. I'm happy in the grand scheme of things. I did a little bit of a modification at the top. There are some short rows for the front and it was just funky. And so plus I wanted to add a few extra short rows. So I added extra and then I did a few extra other little like weird things because the directions were just, there were errors. And then there were also just very unclear things. Like once I read it a few times, I could figure out what she wanted me to do. But like, you know, so I just kind of used my best judgment. Oh my God, I feel like, would this look cute over this? I would be way too hot. But anyway, I just wanted to make a quick little 1 skein shop sample so that I could have a few more samples for my yarn. And I'm very happy with the way that this turned out. I love it. It's super squishy. I love holding fingering weight double at a really loose gauge. It's just like so squishy. And yeah, no like ill will or anything, but I feel like I don't want to like withhold information and not let you know about a pattern that I don't think is that comprehensive. Anyway, let's see. Oh my goodness gracious. We're still in finished objects, aren't we? Okay, we're gonna go really quickly through the next 2 because they are not knitting or crochet. And the first one is really unattractive at the moment. I'm going to open this bag up for you. This past weekend, not this past weekend, 2 weekends ago, we went to visit our friends, Bree and Michael. Bree is the Little Wolf Knits, and we went to visit them and we had so much fun, and I brought a fleece down with me because last year at Rhinebeck, Bree and we got us a fleece that we split in half, which you will see that one a little bit later. And then we each got our own small little like 1 pound fleeces. And neither of us had scoured that second fleece yet. So I brought them down, or I brought mine down, and we scoured them together, and it was so much fun. And I'm just gonna hold a little bit of this up for you. Pardon all the crinkles, sorry. This is, oh my God. Everything is hitting this camera today. This is Gretel, and she is a Shetland. I do not know the farm that she's from, but oh my gosh, she's stinking beautiful. And now she's nice and clean, and I am, hang on, loud noises. Okay, she's gone. I'm in the middle of picking a different fleece at the moment. So right now I just got her, I have a couple of fleeces that are clean, but not picked or carded or anything. And they're just sitting in some vacuum seal bags so they take up as little space as possible. So very excited to have Gretel done and cleaned up, but you probably won't see her for a little while until I get ready to move on with the processing of her. It's gonna be a bit. So next, the final finished object that I have is a new craft, because who would I be if I didn't have a new craft? I went this past weekend to Madison Wool, one of my favorite yarn stores in the area, in the state of Connecticut. It's along the coast. And I took a class on braided rug making, or actually multi-strand braided rug making. And the class was with Deanna of Ribbon Candy Hooking. That's it, Ribbon Candy Hooking. She's Ribbon Candy Rug Hooking on Instagram, and it was fantastic. She was a fantastic teacher. It was such a good class. The group had so much fun. We had a blast, learned a lot, and I made 2 rugs. They're more like trivet size, you know, but I think I just held up the back side of both of them, which is not a big deal. It's just the, excuse me, the ends are poking out a little bit. I think I mentioned that I was sick last week, so my voice is going a little bit and I have a lingering cough. So sorry if I like progressively sound worse as this video goes on. Anyway, this is the first one that I made, and I love it. I am definitely hanging onto this one for a fall decoration of some kind. Like I have some pumpkins. I think I'm gonna like put this as like a little trivet in the center, and like a little motif centerpiece thing on this will be perfect. And then because I just can't be stopped, I made this other one that is like green and then this like black and white houndstooth pattern, and I love it. I think it's really fun. I don't know what to do with it. If I want this one, this might become a gift for someone else or something. As you can see, they're not like the most flat. Like when you do put them down on a table, they stay flat. They stay as they're supposed to be. But what is this? What is happening? I feel like there's like a weird end poking out. There we go. But they're not like perfectly flat, and so I have to work a little bit on my tension and whatnot. And these were all made with just scraps that were brought for the class to use, but of course I had to pull some out and curate them. A lot of people did like really scrappy versions, and I curated my colors because I am me, and that's what I do. It was so much fun though. I am thinking, because I have some ideas of, I really would like to create a rug for this room that I'm in. and I'm kind of debating on how I want that rug to come into existence. If I want to sew, if I want to do this multi-strand braided rug, or if I want to do some weaving. I'm taking a weaving class this coming weekend, so I have a lot of ideas, a lot of things that I'm thinking about, but I really am excited that I learned how to do this. And Deanna mentioned that she's done it with yarn before too, and I feel like that would be so much fun. It is definitely something that I will be returning to, and it was a great time. Fantastic class, absolutely fantastic. And with that said, I have been talking for about 30 minutes. Hopefully some of it I'll be able to cut out for you. Let's move into our works in progress. Finally. All right, let's come back to our side-long shawl. Now, some quick backstory. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw this, you know this. I'm not going to talk about it for too long here. I just want to kind of explain what's going on. Again, it's another thing, like I mentioned before, like this is not like a shade throwing session or a podcast where I'm trying to just like be mean to everyone. But I feel it would be wrong of me to conceal information. So last week, a large designer released a shawl pattern that is visually identical to the side-long shawl, which released in 2023. I say visually identical because I have not purchased the pattern, but it is visually identical, and pretty much all of the descriptors used in the description of the pattern are also the same as the side-long shawl. It uses the same stitch. It is customizable. It is a shallow triangle knit from one end to the other, and it is customizable for any yarn weight or gauge or size that you would like to make. And now, I will say that it doesn't... Do I think this was malicious copying? No, I do not. So I would like to stop that. Any thoughts of that, like, right now. I do not think that there was anything malicious about this. I think it is a common shawl shape and a common stitch, and it could happen, and I actually have... Whatever, I'm not even gonna talk about it. But the point is, sorry, the point is, it sucks. It sucks when something like that happens, especially because the pattern in question immediately went to #1 on Hot Right Now on Ravelry, thousands of likes and views and queued in people's favorites and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So like within hours, that designer had made more than I have ever made in 2 years of having this pattern out in the world. And that sucks. It just stinks so much to like know that you did it already and you did it first, and the people that are aware of it love the pattern, but like you just don't have the reach because you weren't in the right time at the right place a couple years ago when everyone was getting obsessed with knitting. You know what I mean? But anyway, this is not, I'm not trying to sound like a pity party. It stinks. It just stinks. So anyway, I decided to put the side-long shawl on sale. I decided to have a little side-long along with anyone who wanted to. And I would like to turn the tables around from what sounds like me complaining to say thank you so much. I had so many amazing messages. I had so much support. Like I said, this is not me. Oh my gosh. I'm not like trying to encourage people to not support the other designer. This is just me saying what has happened. But I had so many people supporting me, so many people using the coupon code, so many people interested in doing a side-long along. And it's heartwarming. And like I even had people saying that they bought both patterns, you know, so it's not like it's the same, you know, it's the same thing as like multiple designers have a raglan sweater out there, you know, that's a common sweater shape. They're gonna be pretty similar, but you can still have multiples and you can still enjoy multiples. So the point is, I hope this didn't sound too crazy, but the point is, thank you all so much for your support. It really warmed my heart. And it kind of made me realize, like, as a smaller designer, as a very, very, very small business owner, you don't feel like people see you, but they do. And sometimes, you know, people can't buy every single one of your patterns that you release. People can't buy every single yarn color that you release. And that's okay because everyone has different circumstances, but they're still there and they're still seeing you and they're still supporting you in the ways that they can. So it was a really nice reminder to see that. And anyway, now I will talk about my work in progress. So this is my side long shawl, and I am using my hand spun yarn. This is a Shetland. Is that focused? I can't see. There we go. This is a Shetland fleece this is the other one that I got at Rhinebeck last year that Brie and I split. And I scoured it and picked it and carded it and spun it all myself, and now I'm knitting it. This is actually the first fully hand processed thing that I am making something out of, which is wild. I didn't realize that until after I cast it on, and I was like, wait a second, I've knit with my hand spun before, but not with hand spun that I have taken from raw wool and turned into yarn. So this is some yarn that I showed a little while ago that I had actually over plied. It was balanced when it was spun, but when I plied it, I added too much twist into it and I wasn't sure what to do. And I was hemming and hawing and I didn't realize it was overspun until after I had already like hanked it up and stuff, and I really didn't want to have to run it through the wheel again. So I was doing a little research, thinking about it for a long time. It wasn't so bad. And then I was realizing and reading about how a lot of people like to use slightly over twisted yarn in cables. And sometimes people said that they like to even add extra twist so that it's purposefully more twisted than a balanced yarn for certain types of projects. And so I thought, you know what? That actually might be perfect for this because this is fisherman's rib, and while it's not a cable, it really, like, having that dimension, that like slight over twist, like really makes the stitch pattern pop. And I think it has been a fantastic decision. There's a couple spots in here, like, yeah, I don't even think you can probably see them, but there's a couple spots actually, like there's like a line right here-ish. That was like a pretty decently over twisted spot that only lasted like 2 rows. But I think it's gonna pretty much block out and you really can't see it. And it doesn't like affect things very much, but you can tell just like it kind of is pulling the stitches a little bit. But anyway, oh my God, I've been talking forever. Will I ever shut up? I'm approximately at the halfway point. I'm playing a tiny bit of yarn chicken with my halfway point. I have done, so this is a DK weight yarn. The pattern is originally written for an Aran weight, but customizable to anything. So I have done significantly more increased sections than I have in compared to what's written in the pattern, just because I'm using DK, not Aran. And I am so close to being halfway through the yarn that I have. So I'm debating on if I do another increase round, or not round, like section, or if I don't know. I might do some fiddling in the middle. Like I might do like half of an increase repeat and then have my first decrease repeat be half of a decrease repeat. So it kind of like, instead of doing a full increase and then a full decrease, you know, so I can eke out the tiniest bit more yarn. We're talking like, I'm within like 5 grams of perfectly down the middle. So we'll see what happens with this. Oh, you know what? I brought this over here. Oh my God. I haven't talked to you in so long. I'm just never gonna stop. I have this box that I got a few years ago at an antique store, and I have recently put all of my stitch markers in here. I purged so much. I used to have like a drawer full of notions and stitch markers and all kinds of things, and I purged so many things, and now they're all just right in here, super cute. I have all my holiday ones over here, all my like really like handmade, actually that should go in there, and that should go in there. My like handmade clay ones are in like a little bowl, keeping them separate and safe. And then my so the only stitch markers I kept actually are handmade. But the ones that are like a little bit more over here that are kind of free floating are like resin, wood, a little bit more. They can bounce off of each other a little bit more than the clay ones. Man, oh man, I'm having a day. I'm having a day right now. What stitch marker do I want to put on here? Oh, you know what I want to do? Oh my gosh, I know what I want to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull this one out for later. Okay. I am going to put this little stitch marker on here so that we can see, although I'm sure I'll be done by next time, but we're going to see where I mark my progress on here. This is made by my lovely friend Wendy. Very warm stripes, or warm stripes on Etsy. And this is a little olive, and I love it so much. It's so cute. This is made, handmade porcelain, I believe, clay from Wendy, and I love it. So that's gonna live on there for right now. Next work in progress. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna try and speed things up a little bit. We're gonna try and speed things up. Next work in progress, I started a second ab sweatshirt by Brie of the Little Wolf Knits. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And this is in her flats or drums colorway. Miko is coming down the hallway. I can see him coming for this tripod. He's coming for it. Mugs. Okay, good. Something made a sound outside. And he is off to investigate. This is in Brie's flats or drums colorway. And I am right at the spot where I am going to be joining in the round. I am going to put on this is a progress keeper from, focus on the thing. Focus on the thing in my hands, please. Focus on this. There we go. Wow. This is from last year's, this is also from Brie, from last year's Beetlejuice countdown in October. And I'm gonna put this on here so that we can check where I am next time. No modifications, I'm making the size 3. I'm using US 8 needles. And yeah, that's it. This is my third second ebb sweatshirt. I tested this pattern back in the day and I love it. Oh, and this is what Brie made her first sample out of, and I've just always loved it. And so I finally was like, Brie, I need to copy you. Can you hook me up? And so we gathered yarn together, and Brie was kind enough to give me some of her leftovers too, so that I could squeak out a little bit extra yardage. Okay, so quick. We're gonna go through these next two. I have two spinning whips that I started. One is this on my Dreaming Robots Nano. Is this focus? This is Scissors Lizard Spock from Into the World, and this is just a quick little, when I was going to visit Brie, I wanted to throw something into my bag to take a spinning project with me, so I started that there. I knit about 2 ounces of it, half a braid, and knit. Oh my god, I spun about half a braid and I haven't touched it since. So still working on that, to be continued. And then while we were gone, you know what, I'm just not gonna, while we were at Lehigh Valley Fiber Festival, that was something that we did while we were down with Brie and Michael. I got some stuff, I got some fiber, I got some yarn. I'm not gonna talk about that today because this podcast is gonna be too long if I show all the acquisitions and stuff, so maybe I'll show it next time if I'm like lighter on the content for the next podcast, or you can check in my stash update. We'll see. But I got some Rolags from Kira Wiggins, and this one is pink, but there's actually a gradient, and I started spinning on one of my Bosworth spindles. Why? It likes the robot. It likes the robot and this little sheepy that's over here, and it doesn't want to focus on anything else. I don't know how to. There we go. Okay, so I have to like block. Does it think that's a face? So I started spinning this on my drop spindle. This is all I've gotten done so far, but I am in love, and it's so much fun. And it was only 50 grams, so I thought that was good. I've been kind of avoiding my drop spindles because I felt like a full spin on them would be too, or it just felt too intimidating. So 50 grams felt like I can do that. And so I started it, and I have not gotten very far, but I'm still enjoying it. Okay, we have to talk. I've been talking for so long. If you have stuck around for this long, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's talk really quickly about the shop. Let's see. Firstly, I posted a video a couple weeks ago with the renovation of this office so that you could follow along with it. Unfortunately, I accidentally deleted a ton of the footage. So, do you want to come up? A lot of that is lost, and the vlog is not as comprehensive as I had wanted it to be. So I will do a tour of this room at some point in the future. I do want to get stuff up on the walls, and like I said, I'm gonna make a rug and do some other decorations in here, so that will be coming at some point. But if you are interested in seeing what went into making this new office, that video is up. Also, I wanted to give a quick reminder that Zoinks is a limited edition yarn that is currently in the shop. I don't have any here with me to show you, but that will be available through the end of October. So make sure you get your orders in now if you would like it, before I take that listing down. And also, I started working on this year's Thanksgiving collection, which will be coming in November, and that means that I'm probably going to be retiring some of last year's You've Got Mail colorways. And there are some that are really, really, really popular, and so I'll probably keep them around because I think some people might cry if I get rid of them. Particularly Don't Cry Shop Girl, that's the bestseller of the collection. But there are some other ones that people really love, and I think I'm gonna keep them around because I also love them. But that means that this is your last call for some of the You've Got Mail colorways. So if there are any that you really like and you need to have in your life, make sure you get those orders in. I will make an announcement once I decide which ones are going to be retired. I will make an announcement on Instagram so that you can know if, you have to act fast or anything. And the last shop announcement that I want to make is that the day that you are watching this is Friday, October 3rd. And if you are someone from my generation who was raised on Mean Girls, you will know that Friday, October 3rd is a special, special day. And every year I have wanted to do a Mean Girls something. And every year it gets to be October 3rd and I go, crap, it's October 3rd. I can't release anything on October 3rd if I haven't prepared for October 3rd. 1 second. I had to move Miko again. So, this year I have finally thought ahead and it's just going to be a teeny tiny little special Mean Girls release that will probably just be here through the end of October. And this is 3-way calling attack. And I am in love with it. It's so good. It's so, it's this like beautiful pastel-y, multi-layered pinks and blues and purples with some speckles. This pulls from all of the outfits that they are wearing in one of the 3-way, 4-way call scenes in the movie. If you're watching this podcast, this yarn is now available, so you can go grab it. This, what I just showed it to you on, is on my Noda DK, but you'll be able to get it on any base that you want. And happy Mean Girls Day. Let's talk about life really quickly. As you can potentially tell from my chaos today, that's what life's been like lately. Like I said, we went to visit our friends Bree and Michael. It was so much fun. We had the best time. I went to Bree's trunk show that she had down at the Knitter's Edge in Bethlehem, which was awesome. And then we went to Lehigh Valley Fiber Festival on Sunday. The whole thing was amazing, filled with friends and fun, and we did, or at least my first escape room. It was amazing. There were also a couple other people from Bree's Wolf Pack that were there that we met up with. It was just great. It was fantastic. It was so much fun. Just filled my heart. And it was an amazing, amazing time. And then I got sick. So that was not great. It was like, okay, like I wasn't like that bad, but also just like so stuffy. And tired. I think also it just hit me worse because of getting less sleep while we were away. And then all of the appliances at our house have been breaking. Our dishwasher broke, so we replaced that. We decided to also get a new fridge and oven. Those have not arrived yet, but the dishwasher has been delivered. And then immediately our TV broke, so we got a new TV. It's just been a lot of new technology around here in the house and a lot of expenses. A lot of expenses. So yeah, that's basically been it. Other than general working and still just getting all the decorating done and cuddling with all the little animals. This is so funny because so right now I actually don't have a door on this room. We're in the process of replacing the doors upstairs. This room was a little bit of the start to a snowball of renovations in the house, and so we took the door off, but the new it was a thing. It's fine. We're getting a new door delivered in 2 weeks, so I'm without a door for right now. I don't really mind that much, but normally I close the door when I'm recording, but today we have a lot of visitation. A lot. Huh. I think he's mad because before I recorded, he was sitting on this little couch taking a lovely nap, and he probably just wants his spot back. As you can see, I have gotten a cover for the couch, and I got a cute little sheepy pillow that I still have the tag on. And it's just so perfectly cozy here. And so Miko wants his face back. Let's talk about books really quick. We're gonna try and do like one sentence reviews of things because I'm embarrassed that I've talked this long, and we all have other things that we need to get done with our lives right now. So here we go. The first thing, oh man, I have Miko's hair all over me. The first thing that I read is Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. This is kind of like a Western-ish vibe, but I think it takes place in the country's future, in the US future. I gave it 3 stars. It was a fun story, but I wish I had known more. It was a pretty short book, and I think it could have benefited from some world building to let me know like what kind of world we were in, because I think it was a really cool one, but I don't know. Then I read Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. Sorry. And this was probably my least favorite Alice Feeney book. I gave it 4 stars though, so she's still pretty dang good at what she does. But it didn't feel as, with her other books, I am like, the whole time I'm like trying to figure out the clues and figure out what happened. And I'm like on the edge of my seat, and this one just wasn't as much like that. I don't want to say too much more about it because I don't want to accidentally give you any kind of idea of what's going on. So 4 stars for that one. Then I read Count My Lies by Sophie Stava, I think is how it was pronounced in the audiobook. And this I gave 3 stars. It was fine. It felt standard. It kind of felt like a standard mystery thriller, domestic thriller kind of book. It kind of felt like I've read a lot of the same tropes before. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It told a story that's been told before. I wasn't bored, but I also was like, okay, yeah, this story's been done. So 3 stars for that one. Then I read Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite, and this was very cute. This is a little queer science fiction mystery, where there's this woman that is a detective on a ship in the future, and it's this really interesting idea where basically they've kind of figured out a way where you can download all of your brain, your memories, everything into a book in the library, and then you can upload it to a new body. So when your body gets old and feeble, you can just switch over to a new one, and so now people are living for centuries, and they just switch bodies. This also very cutely had a pretty knitting heavy section to it. So the main character loves to knit. Some things happen in a yarn store. It was very cute. Very cute. If you like science fiction, this is a short novella, so if you like science fiction, I recommend. It was cute. And then the knitting stuff was heartwarming. I liked it. 4 stars. Can't remember if I said that. And then I listened to Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz. I hesitate to give memoirs star ratings because, I'm not going to rate someone's existence, but I gave this 4 stars. I really liked it. Bethany narrates this herself, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. She did a great job. All I want to do is watch One Tree Hill now. Oh my God. All I want to do is watch One Tree Hill. The only criticism I have is that the subtitle is Life on a Cult TV Show while also in an actual cult. And there was so little of the book that was about the Life on a Cult TV show. So I feel like the subtitle is a little misleading. but it was fantastic, and I just want to watch One Tree Hill so bad right now. Okay, that's all I have to say. My battery is now about to die. Let's see if I can wrap this up before it does. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for your patience on the most chaotic of all days. I don't know what was going on with me today, what was going on with us today. And thank you for all of your support. Don't forget about the sidelong along, right, Migs? And that's all we have to say for right now. Thanks for your patience. We love you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe for Miko. That's him saying, please like and subscribe. And until next time, take care of you, and we will see you later. Bye.